So I am excited to be back to finish up the last of this series, Who Needs God? We could talk about this probably for many weeks because there's so much involved in this. But today I really wanted to wrap this up in a way that I hope kind of touches anybody and everybody that's on a journey to know God, that wants to know God, would love to have God in their life. You may even be a little like, I'm not sure, I've tried this before and I don't know whether it's going to work for me. All of that, and even for people that are watching online, and I'm finding out all the time more and more of the diversity of our audience out there that's watching us online, and it's really pretty awesome. So welcome, guys. We're really glad you're watching today. And I know that for many of us, when we see this question, it may seem very basic to us, to the point that we don't think of whether we need God or not. And that's really the problem. The problem is that sometimes we just don't know whether or not we have a sense of connection to Him or not. And sometimes we feel as if that connection point is based on other circumstances or things in our life. A lot of times we don't even know whether or not He's even interested in what we're interested in, or if He knows about what's going on. It just depends. And this is not just somebody who's never been to church or never been in the faith. This is people who actually have been a part of a faith institution, if you will, the church, for maybe all their life, and still feel like there's something missing. Maybe not just something, but a lot even. But still going through that week in, week out kind of process of trying to connect with God or wanting to connect with God. And it seems as if maybe the only times that God seems real in your life is when there's maybe a crisis or when there's something really exciting going on. It has to be one of those. It's not ever the just day to day. And that's what I think a lot of us we go through. Because we don't have crisis every day. If you do, then boy, let's have a prayer meeting together every day before you start your day and everything. But not every day is full of crisis. Not every day is full of excitement, though, either. And there's a lot of things, that we could enjoy and want to do, but a lot of us, we struggle back and forth many times of feeling like we're connected. And so today, we're going to go right through this today and try to really make it so that anybody in this room, whether you are skeptical of faith, church, tradition, religion, anything, or whether or not you've been a Christian, and sometimes I even feel like I have to put this up here, the quotation marks, to say whether or not we're Christians, because I have heard so much recently of people trying to determine what is it that makes you a Christian in the first place. And so I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to do this. And I've talked to some people who have been in church all their life, and they seem to be struggling with just the basic facts of what it is to be Christian. And so today kind of gets us at a point to where we have to come to grips with some things. The last few weeks, that's exactly what we've done. We've kind of put out questions that maybe raise some tension for us. It makes it hard. We have to do it, and today's no different. We're going to raise some tension for all of us today because it's important. I don't think I would be worth who I am as a pastor if I didn't take the time to raise the tension once in a while and make us have to really think about where we are, where we stand, what we do, for anybody. I mean, honestly, I read something this morning, a book I read every day, and this book kind of talked about the fact that, nothing's really changed. I mean, a lot changes in the world, but the thing that's not really changed is there's a thing such as good and evil. There is evil in the world, and it's all around us. And for us to be able to deal with that on a daily basis, we have to have that connection to something greater than us. Because that evil can easily take us and can destroy some of the best things in our life if we're not careful. And so it's very, very important. And I've noticed, I think we all feel the tension and the anxiety in the world today and all of that that's going on. And I think it's very valuable for us to question this and ask, who needs God? So I have a question to put up here today, and I want to walk it through. Where in our lives are we already living like we don't need God? That's a big question, right? I've been listening to some music while I've been doing like yard work last day or so. And there's this new one out there, and I love it's got a country feel to it a little bit, but it's a Christian song. And we have dust on our Bibles, brand new iPhones, and wonder why we feel this way, And so I start to think to myself, very much of what we try to do as believers or followers of Jesus, and if you're questioning whether you should be a follower of Jesus. I know a lot of you that are watching online may have that question, and I want to try to answer that. But I'm not assuming that there's not people in this room that are questioning the whole idea. But for those of us in this room that would say we are followers of Jesus, this is a big question. I really want you to think about it. I don't care how much of the Bible you know. I don't care how long you've gone to church. I don't care if you say, I know I'm saved. I have no question. That's great. Good. If you know that, that's awesome. But where in our lives are we already living like we don't need God? Are there things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis where it's just, I'm going about my life. I'm going about the motions. I'm just doing everything I do. I've got to be here, and I got to be here. I got to be, I need to be there and here at the same time. You ever had that day? Everybody in this room is facing those kinds of things that push, of trying to keep up with a busy schedule and all the things that go with it, and trying to make sure we're doing everything we can for our family or to stay ahead on our jobs or our, whatever. And we're trying to make sure every influencer that we're listening to or seeing, that we're trying everything out because somebody's bound to have the answer, right? And so very easy for us to kind of become like our own guides to life. And we start to depend on ourselves. I don't know about you, but the most undependable person that I know is me. I'm the most undependable person to myself. I know it. I see it. Every day I let myself down, but I'm thankful that I have a connection to God in a way that allows me to really find some truth when I'm not thinking I'm smarter than Him. So I want you to think of this. We can all drift into living like God isn't actually part of our everyday lives. It's a drift. Okay, it doesn't start out as like, today I decide to be separate from God and leave Him out of my life. We don't do that. I hope you don't. We don't just decide that today I'm not going to connect with God. Today it's just, I'm on my own today. Yeah, I got this. I don't think any of us do that. I think we drift. I think we start out with something very small. I think it's busyness that starts it. And I think it's other things that become more important. I think it's things that become distracting to us, things that tell us the wrong way to react or the wrong way to treat somebody else or the wrong way that we are actually going through the daily process of just life. And we start to drift away. So it's important. It's important that we don't forget it. And I want to take us to a passage of Scripture today that I believe gives us really some insight. I used this Scripture, it's been a couple of years ago now, that I did a series called We'll Leave the Light On For You. And we went through the first part of Revelation. And it was all letters to churches that the Apostle John wrote to each one of those churches that were in what we now know as modern-day Turkey or that Asia Minor area, where the churches were located. And so John was actually under house arrest on the island of Patmos when he wrote this by the Roman government. They had had enough of his preaching and teaching. And so what did he do? He resorted to letters. It was great. And so this was how he wrote to them and told them. And there was a church in the city of Laodicea. Laodicea was a textile king. It was industry and medicine. They were big on all kinds of things. They had there's history of the fact that they had one of the first optometrists or ophthalmologists. And so they had all kinds of creative ways to treat eye disease and different things like that. So they were taken care of in a lot of areas. And so these people, when the gospel, the message of Jesus dying on the cross and raising from the dead, when it got to Laodicea, these people trusted it, they believed it, they saw the life change in it. The problem was that there were some things happening in their personal lives that made it hard or difficult for them to see what their need really was. I've had the privilege the last few weeks of meeting with 4 young men in the 4th and 5th grade area. And this has been fun. On Wednesday nights, I've been meeting with them. We do a thing called Level Up every year. And this year, I only had 4. I was really kind of disappointed. I was looking forward to having time with those kids, but busy schedules, and things like that. But these four boys all together, and on Wednesday night, this was great. 4 boys that saw their need, no question. We got to talking about the gospel, and we got to talking about some things, and they went around the circle and talking about this, and they were very honest. One of the best men's groups I've ever been a part of. And got to tell you, this was great. The boys, I went right around the whole circle, and I said, are you a sinner? Do you know if you're a sinner? Yes. Are you? Yes. Are you? Yes. Are you? Definitely. I thought that was really great, And so hearing that, I thought, okay. So we went around, we shared the gospel, and it was an incredible experience with these young men as they're dealing with their need. Why do you get saved? Not just to go to heaven, but because we have a sin issue, a problem that has to be dealt with. And Jesus dealt with it, And so hearing them talk about, well, I take it back to the Laodiceans. Sometimes they forgot what their problem was. They were taken care of. They had a lot going on. They were doing well. Financially, they probably were one of the richest cities in the area because of all the textiles and all the things that they created. I want to take you to Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. This is what it says. John wrote this as a letter to the pastor there, but this is actually John, all he was the scribe. Jesus really was the one giving him the words to write and send to this church. So this is Jesus speaking through John in this letter to these people at this church. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot, or I almost did that. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. Wow, that's some pretty in-your-face kind of talk, And it's because the fact is that Jesus, I've heard this. I was a youth pastor for years. I remember hearing this verse, and it was like, this is the reason why you want to be on fire for Jesus, Any of you grow up in the church, you remember those guys that would talk like that and preach that way? Remember that? I was probably one of those youth pastors at one time, But I remember this verse always being the one to tell students or, middle school, high school students or even college students, you need to be on fire for Jesus because he doesn't want you to be cold or hot, But nowhere in this verse does it say to be hot. That's not the point. The point is, you can't tell what you are. He was saying to the Laodiceans, we really can't tell. It doesn't seem like you're affected one way or the other. You're not like cold and refreshing, and you're not hot and warm. And, either way, he says you're just kind of lukewarm. You're indifferent. You're apathetic. You're complacent. You don't really care. It's just kind of there. And there's all kinds of history I could go into here about what this was about. But primarily, when something's lukewarm, you get ready to drink hot coffee. Now, I know iced coffees come into the thing, you people that like your frou-frou stuff, all right? So to me, it's hot coffee, all right? So you drink hot coffee, all right? To me, the other stuff is like hot chocolate or whatever that has a little bit of caffeine in it. The whole concept, though, is that you get something, you pick up that That cup that was like hot 15 minutes ago, and you're ready, you're bracing yourself, and it's like lukewarm. Blech. You know? It's gross. The point is being complacent, being halfway in the middle, kind of, you can't really tell whether or not it's important to you or not. Is this real or not? Is this authentic or not? Does it make sense or not? Do you live it or not? That's really what he's trying to get at. And he kind of says, you know what? This kind of makes me sick. This kind of makes me sick. When I taste what you're giving me, I don't like it. I'd rather spit it out. Then the verses go on and says, you say, and this is how they were making these statements. I am rich, I have acquired wealth, and read this with me out loud. Do not need a thing. Woo! I don't need a thing. You know? Now, this was not just a humble statement. I don't have to, I'm not worried about what's going on here, whatever. I'm talking about these people were saying, I don't need anything. I've got it. I'm covered. I live in Laodicea. You know? Very, very easy to have anything I need. I've got it. It's right at my access. But they were kind of like, I'm rich. I got what I need. You know? I've acquired anything I want and I have plenty of it. Okay? And I don't need a thing. But you do not realize that you are, say the words with me. I didn't make them yellow, but you can read them, right? Wretched. Okay. First of all, I don't like any of those descriptions. All right? I don't like any of those. I wouldn't want my Christianity or my belief system or the thing that I'm saying and that I'm spending my time on and my life on, I wouldn't want to be then stated that I'm wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. But you know what? I am. I am every one of those things. I can only get what these things are causing in my life. I can only have those needs met in one way. In one way. Jesus in my life is the only way that it takes care of my wretchedness. It takes care of my pitifulness. I can be pitiful sometimes. Right? After I worked in the yard all day Friday night, I was pitiful. Okay? I can feel poor. Poor in all kinds of ways. But I can feel like I have nothing. Where am I going to get this? What's going to happen here? And you know how I show it? Because I worry myself to death. How am I going to get what I need? Blind? Okay, my wife thinks I'm getting blind because she sends me to the cabinet to get something or to the refrigerator. It's just inside the refrigerator. Anybody here? No, you know what? Any men here in this room have that problem? Come on, put your hands up, men. Come on, let's just say it. Yeah, we all are this way. She sent me there to get the pimento cheese spread. That was good too, by the way. But she sent me there to get it in the fridge. I opened the door. I'm looking in. I even moved a couple of things. All right? I moved a couple of things. Okay? I'm thankful for my wife. She's a great cook, so she's always got something in there. It's awesome. And so I open the door, look in, can't find it anywhere. She thinks I'm blind and I think I am. Because I said, where is it? I don't see it anywhere. Well, I was being pitiful and poor again. Where? I don't see it anywhere. I start talking like a little middle schooler. Okay? But you know where it was? It was right there in front of me. It was right there. Oh, my word, I hate that. I hate that. But I was blind. Now, I want you to think about this a minute, okay? How many things in your life are like that? God's doing, wants to get your attention, wants to put it out there for you to see. It's an obvious thing from God's perspective. It is clear. It is, He's put it there. It should be obvious to us. And we go to the refrigerator of spiritual life and we open the door and go, I don't see it. Sometimes we're too lazy to even get up and open the refrigerator door. You get my point, right? Do you see how that works? And I think a lot of us do this. I know I do. Okay, I know I do. I'm expecting God to do something, and if I go in there and I go to a point to where I'm saying, God, please show me this. And He's working all around me, and I am just so bent on what I want and how I want it that I miss completely what God's trying to show me. So it's exactly what the people of Laodicea were like. They were struggling. They were having problems. Let me just take you to this point. I want you to think about it. We are more likely to drift than to walk or run away. So this is not going to happen dramatically in our lives. We still go to church, perhaps, at least 1 out of 5 weeks. That's the national average now. Did you know that? We at least go to church 1 out of 5 every 5 weeks. And we at least hear a song and recognize it on the thing, Oh yeah, a Dusty Bible song. Yeah, that's snappy. I like that. It's actually very convicting, so listen to it. Get Dusty Bibles and new iPhones and I wonder why we feel this way. So we don't usually just wake up one morning and run away from God. Now maybe your story is such that maybe it's been that way in your past. And at some point in time, you had a crisis or something happened. Someone that you loved dearly died, or something that you were putting a lot of investment in fell apart. A relationship that you were counting on, it just went down the tubes. Whatever, any of that. And you might have started the process of running, but you weren't running fast at the beginning. It was hard to walk away from that. It was hard to walk away from God. It's a drift. It happens gradually. And let me just say this. The greatest threat to our faith isn't always pain, problems, or even unbelief. And we all could in this room, yeah, for sure, that's me. I'm not a believer all the time. I forget what I truly believe in, and it becomes weak in my life for different reasons. Probably a lot of the things we've just mentioned. It becomes weak to us. The greatest threat to our faith isn't always pain, problems, or unbelief. It's comfort. It's being satisfied. It's having enough. I'm confident I've got enough. Just like the Laodiceans, I'm rich. I got everything I need. No. You're wretched and you're actually poor. And the point is that they were staking everything on things that are temporary, things that don't last, things that any crisis that would come along could take it all away. And yet, they were very confident. They were okay. So the greatest threat to our faith has nothing to do with the problems that we face. A lot of times it's just routine and comfort. I'm happy. The best I can do, it's all right, no big deal, I'm okay. And that's not what it just doesn't work. It falls apart quickly. The drift becomes quicker and quicker and quicker. Think about it this way. You ever made a New Year's resolution? Okay. You ever made a New Year's resolution to do something for God or in your relationship with God? How's that going? It's almost May. How's that going? Well, I need to go back 4 years and catch up. Ever had to do that? Or think you do? See, that's the point. It's a drift. We just one day we don't, and next day we don't. 2 weeks down, we've not. And it's over. It's like God seems very far and distant. And guess what? He didn't move. We did. That's what makes us complacent. That's what makes us feel like this isn't worth it. This is what makes us apathetic. I believe that a lot of it has to do with why we pick 1 out of 5 weeks sometimes. because we've drifted. I know. Greg, this is not fun. Can you just tell a funny joke about how you're dumb? I could do that. Here's the thing, though. I take you back. We just start doing life and even faith. We start doing life and faith on our own. We just start doing things on our own. I believe, and I know it because I've talked to people who have done it. I have done it. Read my Bible every day and then say, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's doing anything for me. Somewhere along the way, though, we leave God out. That's what happens. We just start to drift away from it easily. And I'm asking you the question, just like I did at the beginning. Have you started to feel that way? And even to the point that you can start coming to church, you can start serving, you can start doing a lot of things, and it even feels normal, or worse yet, successful. Yet God's not a part of it at all. It's something we're doing on our own. It's something that we feel like we can accomplish, and we do it ourselves. And I take you to this. We don't stop believing in God. It's not that there's like this complete just drop God and don't want anything to do with Him. We just stop depending on Him when we feel in control. So it's a mark of whether or not we feel in control is whether or not we're letting God in to our circumstances, our situation. Does God really play a role in your life? Do you have relationship with Him? Do you feel like, yes, I want to talk to God? Or yes, I want to hear from God. I want to know what He's saying to me. Yes, I can't wait to go and spend time with God and His people, the people that want to follow Him too. I can't wait to get to church. I can't wait to serve the church. I can't wait to serve my community. I can't wait to share my faith with somebody who doesn't know Him. Why? Because their life could be changed just like He changed mine. Or are we just kind of like, I don't care. I got too much going on. I'm too busy. I don't know if I can handle anymore. I can't bring God into it. That'd just complicate everything. I mean, think about it. Is that really what's happened to some of us? Have we kind of gotten to that point to where it's not real or it doesn't feel real anymore? We don't need God. We're doing okay on our own. It feels normal and successful. It even seems like God's blessing. Oh, this is really good. But yet we're missing something. Something happens. It's like this. The drift is not away from church, but away from dependence on and connection with God. We miss the need for connecting with Him. We miss the need for doing it. So it's not necessarily a drift away from church, or can I just say churchy things? COVID changed everything when it comes to how we view church. And a lot of times, we've replaced the things that we held as values in our life. We've replaced it in our life for something that's more convenient or easy or something that makes us actually feel like we're in control of it. All right? It felt out of control during COVID, didn't it? It was like every day somebody come out with some new thing we had to do, Take a big scoop of Ajax and eat it, or put on 4 masks. That'll keep it from spreading, or whatever, Hide behind carry around a little glass shield in front of you everywhere you go, Whatever. There were all kinds of things and there was just so much fear and anxiety. It made people depressed. And a lot of us, it changed the rhythm of life for a lot of things. And we wanted control, right? And we missed out on an opportunity for God to be the one that we depend on. And I just want to tell you, it's time to give that up. It's time to stop. Don't let that be the case anymore. Don't feel like you have to be complacent about Christianity or following Jesus. Don't feel like you have to, it's just, I don't care anymore because everything just seems to be falling apart. Let me tell you something. Jesus is still in charge and He's still in control and things aren't falling apart. All right? He's got it. It's okay. You don't have to worry. Yet we do. And it comes down to it. And I got to show you this. This is Timothy, young pastor, And Paul is teaching this young pastor, Timothy, what to say and what to do to this group of people. And he just told him, he said, look, it's like you have a form of godliness, but you deny its power. You deny the power that is behind who God is in your life. And it can be very easy for us to do that. Be very easy for us to walk away and say, you know something, everything's good where it is. I don't want to shake anything up. I don't want to mess anything up. And instead of doing the right thing or the best thing in our relationship with God, we actually take control ourselves. And I would say 99.9 times we mess it up. At least I do. So it comes down to this. We can keep the church activity and keep the activity of faith, but miss the presence of God entirely. We miss His presence completely in everything that we're doing. It could be very easy for us to do it. That's the kind of the form of a godliness, like going through the motions. We do all the cool things, you know. We maybe wear Christian t-shirts with those, you know, make heaven crowded or whatever kind of shirts on, or I'm for you. You know what I'm talking about, right? We can wear those and we can proudly walk around with those things on, but not really in our hearts or our lives are we like living like it really means something, like it's real, like it's the truth. And it doesn't permeate the things that are going on in our lives really. So I want you to think of it from this standpoint. You can believe in God and still be living like you don't need Him. Okay? Establish. You can believe in God and still act like you don't need Him. You go through motions. It's kind of what we've been saying this whole series, right? This whole series we've been saying it'd be very easy to believe in God but not act like we believe in Him. And it comes down to it. You know what this is? This is self-sufficiency. That's what this is. It's sin, okay? Now, I just tell you, if you're a follower of Jesus, this is sin and actually has a root of evil that can get in your heart and your life to the point that you start viewing things the wrong way. And I got to tell you, where I think a lot of the hate and things that we see being said back and forth between people and all different kinds of group and how things have been divided and everything has a lot to do with people feeling like they've got to be self-sufficient. They've got to take care of, number one, they've got to take care of themselves rather than doing what Jesus said was to show the love that I've given you to other people. Act like it's something that's of value. Act like you care. You should because I do. That's what Jesus says to us. I take you to a proverb. This is an amazing proverb. Proverbs 3:8. And if you've never read through Proverbs, if you're a parent, okay, I would suggest you read through Proverbs every day, okay, if you have kids. But this is what it says. Keep falsehood and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. I don't want to be either one. Don't give me a lot of one or the other. But give me only my daily bread. Otherwise, this sounds like, oh, wow. That sounds like, like that's not much of a fun life at all. But here's what he says. The point behind it is this. Otherwise, I may have too much and disown you and say, will you say this with me? Who is the Lord? Who is the Lord? To the point, we just kind of dismiss it, see? I may have so much or whatever, I become comfortable. I'm okay the way I am. I'm just content. Everything is convenient for me, whatever. But then it comes down to it, man, if that's the way life is, I might actually slip up. I might do something wrong here, and I might say, who is the Lord? See, it comes down to this, that many of us need, that's fine, we'll keep that slide up. Here's the thing that is so critical, all right? Many of us don't take the time. If we were to ask the question, how many of us spent time with God, valuable time that knocked you out of that I don't care attitude or mindset, what was it like? Okay? Here's what I want to tell you. There is hope to get past this. It sounds like I was kind of like, trust me, I am preaching at myself here today because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to be I don't care. I don't want to be complacent or apathetic. There are people all around us that need Jesus, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. I don't want us as a church to miss that opportunity. I don't want any of you, my friends, my family, I don't want any of you. Whether I've known you for years or whether I just met you today, I don't want you to go through missing the opportunity to have a close relationship with Jesus. And it's not that hard. It's not difficult. I'm asking you to consider this. Give God at least 10 minutes a day. And be honest with you, when I think about 10 minutes, I think I can blow 10 minutes just sitting. I can blow 10 minutes scrolling. I can blow 10 minutes getting the fourth snack I've had that afternoon. I can blow 10 minutes talking to somebody who really has got something rough going on in their life, and I divert the conversation to, how about them Reds? You know? I mean, think about it. It comes down to it. Read some scripture. I don't know where to start. It's all so confusing. Okay. Granted, it can be confusing, but if you understand, and I'm going to tell you, please come back next week because I'm going to start a whole thing about why the Bible is not confusing. Okay? The Bible for grown-ups, that starts next week. The whole idea of reading scripture, though, is to hear God's voice. It's to hear God's voice. So if you're looking for books to read in the Bible, please don't read Leviticus, okay, first. Okay? 10 minutes in the book of Leviticus, well, you know, that's not where you need to start. Understand the context, right? So the context, go to 1 John. Read the book of 1 John. Okay? Start there. And talk honestly to God without filters. Don't put on your prayer voice. If you say the word thou in your prayers, okay, there's probably an issue. You know what I mean, right? Just talk to God like we talk to each other. That's what He wants. And don't put filters on it. Did you know what? God, I slipped up a little. No, if God were having a conversation, we'd say, no, don't you mean you lied? Oh, yeah, I get. Don't put filters on it. Just tell Him what happened. Sit quietly for a minute. That may be hard to do. Okay? Those of you who are young parents, it's hard to sit quietly anywhere. Okay? Right? Find a place away. Sit quietly for a minute. And then surrender your day before it starts. I've started doing this every morning before I roll out of bed. I'm telling the Lord, Lord, please, when my feet hit the ground, I don't want to feel anxious anymore. I don't want to feel anxious about anything. And I don't want to feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. It's not right for me to try to carry something that's not really a burden I should be carrying. So this is yours. This day is yours. I'm going to give you everything I am, the way I think, the way I do. And I want to try to honor you today. Because if I do that, I'm surrendering everything to Him. Now, whether I understand what I've done or not, you know, probably 10 minutes in, if I haven't spent that 10 minutes with Him, then I can tell you that I'm going to be trying to be self-sufficient real quick. And then just a reminder from the book of John. John 15:5 says, apart from me, you can do everything, right? No, you can do nothing. Apart from being in relationship with Jesus, everything we try is just self-sufficiency that's falling apart around us. And it comes down to the book of Matthew chapter 11. You might say here today, I'm not comfortable. Comfort's not my issue. I'll tell you what's my issue is everything but comfort. I feel that wretchedness. I feel that pitiful, poor, blind feel. I just feel like everything's out of control. Everything's coming against me. I owe so much money. I'm in so far in debt, or I am so far gone in this relationship. I don't think there's any hope. I don't think there's any way God's going to give me any kind of a break for the past I've been through. Let me just tell you this. This verse is important. I want you to read it out loud with me. Come to me, all you who are weary weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So, it doesn't make any difference where you are. Jesus is always going to be able to come to you where you are, okay? He doesn't wait for us to respond and do a bunch of things. He doesn't do anything. Right where you are today, your current circumstances, the way your life is right now, apathetic, complacent, on fire, or freezing cold, whatever you are, okay, you get the point, right? Are you willing to say, God, I'm here. I want you to take it. I'm weary and I'm burdened, and I just can't handle this anymore. Being self-sufficient is hard work, and He doesn't want us to be. You know what? God gets all the glory when we're not self-sufficient and we rely on Him. So it's an amazing thing. Think about this. So whether life feels heavy or life feels fine, doesn't make any difference. The invitation is the same. It's the same to anybody, whether life is fine or it's falling apart. The invitation's the same. Come back. If you're like, I feel like I'm just gone. I'm gone from church. I'm gone from God. I'm gone from knowing any purpose in life, all of that. Come back then. Come back. Come close. Come close. We need that in our life. We need that feeling that we're embraced no matter what we've done or who we are. He embraces us and accepts us, loves us, and come to Him. Don't try to do it on your own. You know why? Do you know who needs God? Do it with me. I do. I do. We all do. But I can say it for me. Who needs God? I do. Me. I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes for just a minute, and I'm going to pray for us. And then we're going to sing a very appropriate song that'll send us out. And I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to consider in your life right now the first question I ask you. Where are you actually living like you don't really need Him? Maybe you haven't really ever trusted Him to be your forgiver and your Savior, your leader in your life, your Lord. And this would be the appropriate time right now to just say, I'm a sinner and I need your grace in my life. Please save me. I believe Jesus died and rose for me. I believe it. I want you to lead my life. You could pray that right now, okay? It's an open invitation. And if you're just living a self-sufficient life, it's time to lay that at His feet and stop trying to control life on your own. Maybe you felt the drift. Maybe it's just starting. Maybe you've been drifting for a long time, but come back. He has open arms. So tell Him that right now. Tell Him that. And then I'm going to tell you, do something that just shows it. Go and tell somebody you did it. Go and tell somebody you prayed. Go and tell somebody that you want to serve. You want to start using your life for Him to open up new things to you, His Word to you, all of this. Just open up and let God do this in your life. Who needs God? We all do. I do.